To planning ahead to the later years in life, a lot of people are very uncomfortable. They shy away from it. Well, today we're taking that big step. We're to learn where to begin when we start that journey. So welcome back from Home Instead Senior Care, Gerontologist Lakely Hogan.
Welcome Lakely. Welcome back.
Remind everybody what gerontologist is. What do you do?
Yes, a gerontologist studies the aging process.
Okay.
Yes.
So you say it's important that we start planning for something. Why is it this far ahead, though?
Yeah, planning in advance is so important because it honors the person's wishes. So it allows them the opportunity to think through what they want their final years to look like and communicate those wishes to those around them. And we actually did a survey at Home Instead and found about 75% of people are more comfortable planning for their funeral than the years leading up to it and their long-term care.
Interesting.
But I understand that.
Yeah, that
You know, it makes it, okay, everyone has to plan for a funeral, but you don't really stop to think, well, wait a minute, what are those years leading up to that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you said communicate. That's one of the first steps, you say, when you are planning for long-term care.
Yes, communication is a big part of this whole conversation because it's one thing to have your wishes, but if you don't communicate it to those that you love, those that you want to be with you through those final years, then your wishes won't be able to be carried through the way you want them to be. So we encourage families to talk to their loved ones, get the conversation started, and it might not always be easy,
right.
But there are great conversation tips on some resources we'll share in a little bit, or you can get that conversation started.
It's something that always seems uncomfortable to talk about is finances.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a key.
But it's important, right?
It's very key to this whole conversation. And we find that older adults have really two fears when it comes to their finances. The first is the fear that there'll be a financial burden to their loved ones, and also that there'll be a burden from a health and independence perspective. They'll have to rely on their loved ones throughout their later years. So I always encourage families, meet with a financial planner, research what it might cost to bring someone into the home if that's where you want to be for those final years, or if you have to make a move, do a little research, see what those finances will involve. And then also make sure you have those documents in place, your financial power of attorney, your healthcare power of attorney, because if you're unable to make some decisions towards the end of life, you want to make sure the people you love are able to make those for you and that they know, again, those wishes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how early are we talking about here?
Well, it's going to look different for everyone, depending on your health and your independence level. So it could be for some people, they might have just a couple years of those long-term care needs, maybe somebody coming into the home like Home Instead to help them out, or home health, or they might need to make a move to a long-term care facility. So it really could vary from just a couple months, couple years, to 5, 10, again, depending on your health and your independence.
Sure.
So it doesn't all have to be business per se, because a lot of this stuff is just business, and you have to make sure all your cross the T's, the I's are dotted. You say also, think about what you'd like on your bucket list, and everyone should have a bucket list.
Oh, absolutely. I think people of all ages should have a bucket list. So when older adults are thinking about, their final years, those leading up to it, make sure that you put some fun things on there. Maybe it's visiting your hometown or taking that vacation you always wanted to. I know my grandpa, he's about 80, and he's learning Spanish for the first time. So you can have some very exotic things or some simple things like one last family reunion. Those types of bucket list items are important.
Wow, now you got me thinking. Like, what do I want to do? I still, to this day, no, it's not skydiving. I just don't want to do.
You absolutely should.
I don't want to do that.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. It's so fun. What about you?
I think piano, learning piano.
Piano, which is not easy.
No, but it's such a beautiful life skill.
Yeah, and it's
great
good
for your brain.
Yeah. Any instrument, which is
most certainly.
Let's talk about, since we're talking about instruments, let's talk about song. There's a wonderful program, you guys, Compose Your Life Song.
Yes, and I think we're going to show you our website. So on composeyourlifesong.com, there is a music generator. So it's a brief kind of survey questionnaire, and on there you check off just things maybe you have or have not accomplished yet. And then towards the end, it will display a musical song that kind of tells you where you're at in your journey. So here's the beautiful song now.
Oh, let's listen for a second.
Oh, yes, it is beautiful. But then there's also great resources on there.
Does the song change?
It does, depending on your
responses, on your input.
Exactly.
How
right?
fun!
Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's like the soundtrack of my life.
Literally,
how awesome is that?
Hopefully, it's like people the soundtracks of their lives.
Absolutely, and that song, it's not set in stone. You can always change it as you go along in your planning journeys.
How great! It's like scoring a movie. Wonderful stuff. Is there anything else on the website that we can take away that you'd want to share?
Well, there's the great conversation starters, as I mentioned earlier. Also tips on what you should plan for financially, your long-term care needs, all right on there. And it's all free, great free resources.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you, Lakeland. You always have such great information and important information.
Yes.
Thank you.
I could be a composer. You
Well,
know?
let's not get carried away, Mark.
Fantastic. More information about planning for your or your loved one's future, visit composeyourlifesong.com. I love that idea.
A composer for your own life.
There you go.
That's true.